Chapter 13. Forest of Death. Sakura sat next to Sasuke after they had just barely escaped from that shinobi from Kusa. Or whatever it was after some of its face had been peeled off due to Sasuke's fire jutsu. Unfortunately, that shinobi had done something to Sasuke, as a strange seal in the form of 3 tomos was placed on the left side of the Uchiha's neck. "Please be okay, Sasuke," Sakura said as she tenderly ran a hand through Sasuke's hair while looking out from the hiding spot where she was able to drag her unconscious teammate, "and please hurry, Naruto. We need you." The sound of rustling leaves alerted the rosette towards the bushes in front of the hiding spot as Sakura stood up and prayed that it was her lost teammate. "Well, look what we have here," said an unfamiliar voice as 3 ninjas from the new Otogakure walked out of the bushes. Sakura froze as these were the ninja from before, as she distinctively recognized the Oto ninja wrapped up in bandages. Oh no! In a different part of the forest, Ino and her teammates, Shikamaru, Nara and Choji Okimeki, traveled through the forest as they had just secured the scroll they needed easily thanks to one of Shikamaru's plans. Choji smiled at their success as he said, "Now all we have to do is..." "Yeah." "What was that?" Ino asked as she looked towards the source of the scream. "Probably some poor fool who in too deep of a mess," Shikamaru said as he felt a certain amount of dread from the location. "Might be too late to help him." "It might be one of our own," Ino argued back as she decided to go towards the source of the scream. "We can't let them die there." Seeing out their blonde teammate was rushing into the dense forest, the young Nara let out a sigh as he and Choji followed, considering that they couldn't just leave one of their own to die horribly and be eaten. Once they got close enough and out of sight, none of Team 10 could have imagined the horror that they had saw. "What is that?" Shikamaru whispered in a quiet panic as to not alert the beast that was attacking a shinobi team. The beast was in the form of a wolf that was even larger than one of the tigers that they had saw some time ago, with what appears to be white armor that has blue stripes all over its body, small wheels behind its paws, and 2 large golden blades that could have easily been mistaken for a pair of wings at its side. The trio couldn't tell what was more intimidating, the blades, the razor-sharp teeth and golden claws it had, or even the pearl blue eyes that were glowing ominously and demandingly. It was a beast straight out of a nightmare. "Dear Kami," Choji said as he saw the 2 dead bodies in a puddle of their blood while the wolf beast violently shook the 3rd ninja around in its jaws. "What is that thing?" "I don't know," Shikamaru saw as he managed to get a peek at the Hittites of the dead ninjas to find that they were from Amigakure, "but I'd rather not stick around to find out. Or become its next meal." The wolf beast suddenly let go of the aim ninja, sending him crashing into a tree with a sickening crack as the shinobi fell to the ground, while the dent in the bark just showed how powerful the toss was. "We have to help them," Ino called out as she saw the aim ninja holding himself up with one elbow while he had his other hand up against the middle of his back. "Ino! Get back here!" Shikamaru called out, but his cries were caught on deaf ears as his teammate was suddenly between the wolf beast and the injured shinobi. Ino stood before the wolf beast with her arms spread out in an effort to try and protect the fallen shinobi. She stood her ground, despite her heart beating wildly in her skull, while the beast before her inched closer and closer to her with a mixture of blood and drool dripping from its mouth. The beast's hot breath was now flowing past Ino's face with a cringing, coppery aroma that nearly choked the girl as she slightly flinched from the stench. The wolf beast suddenly let out a mighty roar that seemed to shake even the trees of the surrounding forest, causing Shikamaru, Choji, and the aim ninja to freeze in absolute terror. The sound wasn't anything a wolf could make, as it sounded more like some giant, dragon-like monster as the roar continued to echo through the trees. I can't move," Shikamaru thought as he was fighting his nerves to go help Ino, but his body was completely tense as the beast's roar echoed ominously to his beating heart. I need to help Ino. Before that thing kills her." Once the beast relented in its roar, it then looked over Ino as the girl's hands and arms were visibly shaking despite the bravado she was putting up. "You fear me," the wolf beast spoke, surprising everyone that it could talk, "and yet you are willing to stand between me and my kill." Swallowing the lump that was choking her, Ino then said, "Yes. I am." You do not what I am or whom you are talking to. The wolf beast said with a slight growl in its voice, you do not know of the power of Kendo Garuman. Kendo? Choji asked as he was able to fight some of his nerves. Garuman? Guess that explains those swords. Shikamaru said as he was able to make a seal with his hands, ready to jump in at a moment's notice. When I give a signal, jump in and save Ino and that tame ninja. Choji nodded as he then saw Ino reach into her pouch and pull out a few small rice balls before laying them down and backing away from Kendo Garuman. Ino said as she bowed towards the beast as a sign of respect, I know that they might be to your liking. But I'm offering them for you to let this man go with his life. Kendo Garuman leaned his head down and sniffed the rice balls before lapping all three of them with his tongue and ate them. I thank you for your small offering, Kendo Garuman said, licking the leftover rice in its teeth, but that will not be enough to spare this man's life after he and his team thought they could turn me into some trophy for their foolish pride. Ino sneered a bit before steeling her nerves as she then said, then take me. Is she flippin' crazy? Shikamaru roared out as he and Choji rushed out of the bushes where they were hiding before they froze in place through the courtesy of another roar from Kendo Garuman. The giant wolf then returned his sights on Ino as he said, you are willing to sacrifice your life for another, despite your fear of me telling you to run away. Ino said nothing as she let out a held breath before tightening her fist as she glared at the beast before her. Kendo Garuman chuckled as he then said, I must commend your courage. Too bad that shall be your last mistake. With a mighty leap, Kendo Garuman lunged towards the Yamanaka and was about to bite into her slender body when a giant fist was slammed into the beast's side, launching it a good distance away from Ino. Stay away from her, Choji said as his hand returned to normal size while he rushed towards his teammate. Choji! Ino called out as she saw Kendo Garuman getting up and shaking its head, look out! Before the beast could attack, a shadow quickly crept towards Kendo Garuman before it connected to the beast's shadow. Shadow possession complete. Shikamaru said as he stepped closer to Choji with the beast slowly taking a few steps forward as well, now too. Warchuck. The large blades unfolded and extended from Kendo Garuman's side before his wheels pressed themselves onto the ground and began to kick the dirt underneath them. With a loud roar, a powerful and threatening aura had caused Shikamaru's shadow to slowly wilt away and return to said ninja. He overpowered my jutsu? Shikamaru thought in pure surprise and fear before he and the rest had to jump away when the beast rushed towards them. What in Kami's name is it? Choji quickly got onto his feet before making a series of quick hand seals. After forming the last seal, Choji's body expanded into the shape of a large boulder of flesh while his arms, legs, and head remained the same. Let's see how you like this. The Okimaki roared out before his head and limbs were tucked into his body, human builder. Choji's body then began to roll before charging violently towards Kendo Garuman. Seeing this, the beast then opened its mouth as it began to glow brightly. Lupine laser. The beast roared out as it fired a few beams of light from its jaws. Ino watched as her enlarged teammate swiftly dodged the first two beams before getting clipped by the third beam as it had bounced off his spinning body. Quickly skidding around for another attack, Choji rushed towards Kendo Garuman while the beast charged towards him, blades brightly gleaming in the light. Howling Star. The beast roared out as he got closer and closer to its opponent. The charging duo got closer and closer to each other before Choji somehow jumped over his opponent and called out, now Shikamaru. Kendo Garuman saw that Zed Ninja had appeared in front of him and threw a few kunai with paper seals attached to them. Now! Shikamaru said as he formed a single seal that caused the paper seals to release a brightly light that seemed to have blinded the charging beast. Unable to see, Kendo Garuman's path faltered as he sped by Shikamaru, just barely missing him with one of his golden blades, before crashing against a few trees. Damn, that was close. Shikamaru saw as he took a quick look at some of the trees before rushing towards his teammates. Is everyone alright? I think so. Ino said as she saw Choji, back to his normal size, approaching them. How about you, Choji? My shoulder hurts from getting hit by that thing's attack, Choji said as he held his injured shoulder as it was burning under his hand. It kinda burns and stings at the same time. Be lucky that you didn't get sliced. Shikamaru said as he pointed to some of the trees that he saw as they were missing some large chunks of their trunks. If those blades that Kendo Garuman has could do that to thick trees like that, then imagine what could happen to the human body. Banishing the thought of the possible damage, Ino then turned towards the fallen name ninja and asked, "Are you alright?" I don't know. He answered as he still held his back with a pained look on his face. I think my back's broken. Can't feel my legs. What exactly is that thing? Choji asked as he kept his attention on the stunned beast. You seriously don't know what that thing is? The AIM ninja asked in pained surprise. Kind of thought you'd know since this is Konoha's Forest of Death. We saw it attack some of the other animals and Genin teams, but the weird thing about it is that my team and I had saw it looking through some of the dead bodies and collected the scrolls that the proctors had given everyone. What would something like that want with our scrolls? Ino asked before she saw her teammates tense up. We might have to ask it. Shikamaru said as his focus hardened, seeing that Kendo Garuman had regained its senses and was now glaring towards them. "'Cause here it comes." A chuckle was heard from the fallen ninja as he then said, "I fear that this might be our last, so if you have any regrets, might as well say them now." Everyone was quiet until Ino let out a sigh and said, "Just one. I wish I could have been nicer to Naruto. Maybe even tell him that I did find him slightly more charming than Sasuke, as that blonde idiot always seemed to find a way to be happy despite all that is thrown at him." As Kendo Garuman slowly approached them, Shikamaru chuckled to himself as he thought, Ino having a thing for Konoha's loudest ninja. Now I've heard everything. Too bad Naruto will never know. With Sakura, she had been scuffed up pretty badly after going up against the Oto ninja that was firing bursts of wind from his palms. She escaped from the Konoha by cutting off most of her own pink hair when the Oto ninja had a hold of it. But despite her best efforts, Sakura knew that she couldn't last long as Lee laid unconscious after what the mummy-like ninja had done to him. Sasuke-kun. Naruto. Sakura thought as her injuries and fatigue were catching up to her. I'm sorry that I couldn't be stronger. I take it you three are responsible for Lee's absence, said a new voice as Sakura looked up to find Nejian on a branch in the tree where Sasuke was hidden. Guess we should jump in and help our own, as destiny had brought us here. Neji. Thought as her teammate was always so preachy about destiny and fate. How am I not insane because of my own teammates? Neji's veins sun pulsed near his eyes as he then said, I hope you're ready to face the might of the Hyuga. Mindscape. Sasuke stood in a brightly lit area as he soon saw his younger self crying as he held his face. Why? The younger Sasuke asked as tears continued to flow from his eyes. Why wasn't I stronger? Why did they have to die? Why did Itachi kill them? No. The older Sasuke thought as he covered his ears in vain, not this. Anything, but this. I can give you what you want, the younger Sasuke said with an unfamiliar voice as his face now had a tear in it to reveal a similar face that was under the Kuza ninjas from before. Sasuke-kun. A painful pulse erupted from the older Sasuke's neck as Uchiha fell to his knees and clutched the source of his pain. Sasuke's body soon felt like it was on fire as more pain shot out from his neck. Do you feel that, Sasuke-kun? The younger Sasuke asked with a smirk on his torn face. That is the power that I, Orochimaru, can grant you, power that will allow you to avenge your clan and kill Uchiha. Before another word was said, a familiar hand was seen being stabbed through the younger Sasuke's body as the smaller boy was lifted into the air. I'm sorry, Raibanji said as his eyes began to glow brightly, but I won't let you steal something that isn't yours. In a bright light, the younger Sasuke was suddenly destroyed as the light had atomized him with black wisps swirling around in Raibanji's now open palm before letting it dissipate into nothingness. Walking up to the fallen Sasuke, the young boy placed a hand on the Uchiha's neck where the mark was and said, Allow me to purify your body from that vile thing's presence. A wave of relief ran through Sasuke's body as his body and neck wasn't in pain anymore. There. Raibanji said with a happy tone in his voice, "Now I can give you a gift." Sasuke looked up to see the angel-like boy holding a small statue of what appears to be a midnight black demon with multiple eyes on its body save for where they should be in the two horned heads. "What?" Sasuke asked as he studied the statue to find that it was radiating darkness and power. "What is that?" "This is your gift, my champion." Raibanji answered with a kind smile on his face, "I have chosen you, Sasuke Uchiha, to wield this power. Power similar to the ones you have met before." Getting the message, Sasuke then said, "You mean that this is the same as their power?" Raibanji nodded as his smile faded and he said, "Yes. I will tell you my tale on a later date, but your friend appears to be in trouble. Use my gift and show them that you are the true champion of darkness." Sasuke nodded as the demonic statue approached him before fusing with his body. Forest of Death. Neji was about to begin his assault when a powerful and dark aura erupted from the opening in the tree. "What is this?" the Hyuga thought in surprise as he studied this new energy. "It's so powerful. Even more so than a Jinnin fresh from the academy could produce." Everyone looked to find a figure with long, golden blonde hair wearing demonic-looking armor that had eyes on his shoulders, knees, feet, and at the center of his chest, while he had slender, demonic skulls instead of hands. "What is he?" Tin asked as she felt a cold sweat from the sight of this new warrior alone. "It can't be," Sakura said as there was only one person who was in that tree, Sasuke. Sasuke looked over his new body as he could feel power coursing through every fiber of his being. "So this is the power that he told me about," Sasuke said before he looked at his teammate. "Who did this to you, Sakura?" Summoning his nerve, the spiky-haired Oto ninja proudly pointed a thumb to himself and said, "It was me and I am not afraid of some creep like you." "Easy there, Zaku," said the mummified Oto ninja, "something about him isn't right. His power. It feels off." "Whatever," the now identified Zaku said with an arrogant smirk on his face, "I can beat this freak as he's just a weak and pathetic Jinnin." "So you're the one," Sasuke said as he continued to stare down the Oto ninjas, "then prepare yourself as you shall face the power of darkness incarnate, Duskman." With that declaration, Duskman charged towards Zaku as a blood-red blade jutted out from the slender skull's mouth while the Oto ninja just aimed the hollow dare tubes that were in his palms at his opponent. "You really must be stupid for charging right towards me without a plan," Zaku said with a manic smile on his face, decapitating airwaves. A large blast of air erupted from the Oto ninja's palms and were heading towards Duskman, who still kept charging towards Zaku. "Pathetic," the demonic warrior said as his blade began to glow a deathly red color, lunar plasma. With a swing of the glowing blade, a curved beam of dark red energy was launched from Duskman's sword and sliced clear through the air blasts, allowing the demonic warrior to get closer. "Get out of the way," the Oto Kunoichi said as she and her teammates dodged the attack before witnessing the beam violently slicing the bark off of the nearby trees. "It just tore the bark right off," the mummified ninja thought as he watched Zaku send another blast of air towards Duskman, only for said person to use the same attack to counter it. What kind of power did Lord Orochimaru give him? "Don't think your fancy sword will hold me off forever," Zaku confidently roared out until he saw the eyes on Duskman's body look right at him. "I have much more than just my blade," Duskman said as he aimed the other slender skull at Zaku with a dark red light glowing from it and the eyes on his body, deadly gaze. A series of dark red beams shot out from the skull and pupils before each of them had hit their target dead on. Zaku had managed to block them, but his arms were burning from the raw energy that they were exposed to while blood was seeping from the wounds. "I also have my jutsus if you haven't forgotten," Duskman roared out as he launched multiple plumes of fire towards the Oto ninja, fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Zaku smirked as he aimed his palm towards the plumes of fire and shot out a burst of air that had put them out to reveal. "Shuriken," the Oto ninja gasped out before dodging the metal stars. "How did he even throw them?" "Wouldn't you like to know?" Duskman said as he was suddenly behind Zaku as this sword had retreated back into the skull. Before Zaku could move, The demonic warrior behind him suddenly grabbed his arms with the jagged teeth of his skulls. Each of their fangs dug themselves into the flesh of the Oto ninja's arms as a slight chuckle was heard from Duskman. "You seem to favor these arms of yours," Duskman said as he tightened his grip on Zaku's arms. "Let's see how you fight without them." Crunch. "Eeeeag!" Zaku screamed out as his arms were suddenly broken from the pressure that was applied to them. Sakura watched in horror at what Duskman was doing as her thoughts were running so fast through her skull. What is this power Sasuke has? Why is it familiar to the power that Agunaman and his friends have? Why would Sasuke fight like this? Where's Naruto? Just what is going on with Sasuke? Not finding an answer to her questions, Sakura silently prayed for any form of miracle to just get this nightmare over with. With Team 10, the trio were about to try and fight off Kendo Garuman until said beast tilted his head towards a different direction and growled. "What's going on?" Choji asked as Shikamaru quickly used his jutsu to latch his own shadow with Kendo Garuman's. "Whatever had happened had bought us a slight advantage," Shikamaru said as he applied some extra chakra as to keep his grip on the beast. The sound of dirt getting kicked up had alerted the group as Kendo Garuman began charging towards them. Before turning around towards where he was looking before. How is he even moving after Shikamaru had captured him? Ino asked in confusion. Before the Naruto could answer, he realized his mistake too late as he was suddenly dragged through the forest due to his shadow being connected to Kendo Garuman's. "Shikamaru!" Choji called out as he and Ino quickly followed their screaming and cursing teammate through the forest, leaving the AIM ninja all alone. Letting out a sigh, the AIM ninja knew that he couldn't go on as he pulled out the earth scroll his team was given and see just what was so special about it and its sister scroll. In the area where Duskman continued to crush Zaku's arms, everyone watched in horror at what was happening until the demonic warrior had let go of the Oto ninja's arms in favor of grabbing Zaku's head with one of the demonic skulls. "How about I end your misery right now?" Duskman asked until a new sound had drawn his attention. Everyone looked to see a large wolf in white armor with large golden blades on its sides charge through the forest before turning itself to face Duskman by using the wheels that were attached to the back of its paws. "Whoa!" Tintin said in shock at the beast before her. "What is that thing and how does it have swords like those ones?" The sound of rustling alerted everyone to a nearby bush and they were ready for whatever new beast might come out. At least until Shikamaru rolled out of the bush, covered in scraps, dirt, and leaves. "That is the last time I try to tame a wild animal with my shadow," Shikamaru said as he slowly got up and dusted himself off while Choji and Ino rushed to his side. "At least I got myself free from Kendo Garuman." The sound of growling had alerted Team 10 to find Duskman standing before them, with Zaku trying to pry the demonic skull off his face. "Ino!" Sakura cried out as she rushed towards the blonde, "You won't believe how glad I am to see you." "What's going on here?" Choji asked as he couldn't keep his eyes off Duskman. "Who's that?" "Believe it or not, that's Sasuke," Sakura said, getting a shocked look from Team 10. Whatever that shinobi we had faced before had done to him had given him some incredible, yet dark power. He calls himself Duskman. "Duskman?" Shikamaru said as he saw Kendo Garuman keeping his focus on the demonic warrior. "Well, meet Kendo Garuman. We stumbled upon him brutally attacking another Genin team before targeting Ino after she tried to save some unlucky fool." Sakura looked to see Kendo Garuman and had a familiar feeling at seeing the giant wolf. "This power," the Rosette said as she steeled herself while keeping her focus on the great beast, "it's just like burning Greymans." "You mean this thing's just like that dragon you saw in Nami?" Ino asked in shock before receiving a nod from Sakura. "Dear Kami." "So," Duskman said as he stared down Kendo Garuman, "you wish to be my next opponent?" The demonic warrior suddenly tossed Zaku off to the side as the other two Oto ninjas had caught their injured teammate. "I was getting bored with that ragdoll anyway," Duskman said as he crossed his arms while blood-red blades erupted from the two demonic skulls on his arms. "Let's see if you are worthy enough to face the might of an Uchiha."
Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you guys want to watch more like it, please subscribe to my channel and become part of the video game fanfiction plot. And please leave a comment down below and hit that like button. If you guys have any suggestions on any stories you guys want me to read, don't hesitate. They're always welcome here in the video game fanfic plot. That also goes for video games. Until next time, goodbye!